people? All right, it is Sunday eve or afternoon, 4:59, and severe weather moving in. We're about to start the 5 o'clock newscast on this Sunday in about 15 seconds. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the opening weather in about 10 seconds. So the screen will go black for a little bit, and then you will see me standing by.
Proudly covering the Northwest Arkansas community. This is KNWA News at 5.
Well, we've had a recent spell of good weather, but as you can see behind me soon, severe weather, including a slight tornado risk, is back in our weather coverage area. Good evening, and thank you for joining us here at 5 o'clock. I'm Casey Smith. So let's go ahead and bring in meteorologist Zach Gilday now. And Zach, where are these storms expected to hit and at what time?
Hey, Casey, yeah, another day, another chance for storms, and this round will bring some severe weather potential. Here is a Rogers view looking north, darkening the skies, seeing some storms to our north and some stronger to severe storms to our north. Temperatures very hot. It is humid. The atmosphere is primed for these severe storms. Lower to mid 90s right now. Heat advisory for some, but up here, that is a severe storm watch for just as of right now, just McDonald and Berry County, but that's yellow polygon. That is a severe storm warning. So Berry County is under a severe storm warning. And here's the timing of these storms. This might be a little bit delayed here, but these storms are going to be moving into the Northwest Arkansas area. I think that Washington County around 6 o'clock, and these storms have the potential for pretty much all hazards. Here's a future track showing those storms making their way in. It's just a model, so it's not 100% accurate, but that's the latest one. So 7 o'clock, that rain looks pretty widespread. I do think as we go further into the evening, though, that severe storm threat will be going down. But we can see we have a 2 out of 5 slight risk for severe weather for a good chunk of the area, including all of Benton County, Carroll, and Boone County, and a marginal 1 out of 5 extending all the way down south to the Interstate 40 corridor. So, Casey, we're live on social media right now, so feel free to join us. I will be doing updates. I'll be trying to, even though we got a newscast going on, but pretty soon we got that full weather coming up.
Yep. Be sure to hop on over to that live stream for all the latest. Thank you, Zach.
The yeas are 51. The nays are 49. The motion is agreed to.
This was the scene on the Senate floor late last night when senators voted in favor 51-49 to advance President Trump's big, beautiful bill, now opening the bill up for debate, a key step in trying to pass it. Democrats have attempted stall tactics like reading the entire 940-page document from start to finish, which took a total of 16 hours. The president has set a deadline on the bill, which a nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimated would add more than $3 trillion to the national debt. That deadline is set for July 4th. While Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders supports the president and his big, beautiful bill, there's one provision that she and 16 other Republican governors are standing up in opposition to. Sanders is against the provision that would prevent laws that regulate artificial intelligence from going into effect for 10 years. Arkansas passed a trio of acts this year that take a stance against AI. The collection of governors wrote a letter to Senate Majority Leader John
All right, so we are in a commercial break right now for about a minute and a half. So we're doing the 5 o'clock news on KNWA, so feel free to tune into that for the news and for the weather. But we have got some storms moving in, and I know we have some fireworks shows. I believe Cross Church Rogers does have a fireworks show tonight, and we got some storms coming in, and we can see a considerable severe storm warning for the Berry County area. So if you live in Berry County, 70 miles per hour winds can cause damage and can even be life threatening. Now we're not doing wall to wall coverage on this because it's on the border of our coverage area and not a crazy amount of people live out there. But if that was for Benton County, we would be going wall to wall for this. But we got some storms and a whole lot of lightning. Got the lightning turned on here. I am making a storm track, and I will show you that in about probably 5-10 minutes. So I can show it to you earlier. But stand by for the news, so I got to be quiet. All right, commercial break right now. Hope you heard that. Oh, yeah, I had it muted. Sorry about that. But you saw the storms, and there they are. So that's the current radar. That's the radar from Tulsa area. Pretty soon, I'm going to have to turn that to the Fort Smith radar because we don't want that radar beam parallel to those lines. But yeah, Mandy, sorry. Yeah, it's kind of hard juggling around in between the newscast. Because I had it pause, I had it muted for the commercial, and then, well, I had it muted for the show, and then I had to unmute it for that tease, but I just forgot to. But yeah, so here are those storms coming in. Those darker shades, those were destructive severe storms. But for us, that is a considerable severe storm in Berry County. And in the newscast, we got sports coming up. So I'll be on here for about 3 or 4 more minutes. And then we got weather coming up at around 6:20. But here is the very latest. So we've got a severe storm watch for the area in pink through 9 o'clock. Questionable whether or not they extend that farther south. Then if they do, that would include Northwest Arkansas. But Yeah, people seeing those storms look pretty intense. And we've got some cameras that can see those storms from Harrison Gaither Mountain and from our Rogers camera. And I can show you that right now. That's looking north from Harrison, so really can't see much as far as the dark skies. But here's a Rogers view. That looks a bit more menacing, and those are those storms coming in. So what we have to watch out for this evening is the damaging winds. I think there could be some small hail mixed in with it, and I do think there is a low-end tornado potential this evening. So if you're just joining, we're in the middle of a newscast, and it is Sunday. Live update 5:10, and we've got some storms moving in, and I'll keep you updated with these storms as they pass through. But as of right now, the only county that has a severe storm warning, the only county that is being impacted by these storms is Berry County, but that could be changing pretty soon. So let me show you the latest information with this storm. So that's the severe storm watch, but I do want to show you the severe storm warning and all the latest details with that. So here's Springfield radar. That's the closest to that storm. So this is the information for that severe storm. So it's not your general severe storm. It's a considerable, which means that 70 miles per hour winds are being seen with this storm. We can see those winds, the shades of pink. Those are some strong winds. Just building my show in between the sports block and the weather block. So that's why I'm not talking 100% of the time. And I see the questions. Miriam, Crosschurch fireworks, you think it'll be canceled? Well, as of right now, the lightning is far away, but I do think that is going to be changing here soon. So I gotta delete some elements. Yeah, it's not Arkansas, but we do cover Berry and McDonald County in southwest Missouri. Flash flooding will also be a threat here with these storms. All right, I'm gonna be quiet. We got the news coming up. All right, commercial break right now. We are getting ready for full weather coming up in about probably 2 minutes, so just stand by for that. We can see the radars on the screen right there. And Berry County has a severe storm warning. with a considerable tag. Yep, you're welcome. Yeah, we do cover McDonald and Berry County for sure. Yeah. And I'm going to highlight all of this during the newscast here coming up, but we do have a considerable severe storm. Cassville is being impacted by this. So River Valley, I do think that that storm, this line of storms will be impacting that area, but not for a little while, and it should be on a weakening trend by then. But until then, I'm watching the radar and keeping a close eye on everything that's happening across the area. We got about 30 seconds, so you're probably wondering about the other areas. So I'm just zoomed in on southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas, because that's really the only area that is experiencing, or those are the only areas that are experiencing storms as of right now. And if that changes, I'll let you know. But we can see Boone County seeing a little bit of storm activity. So I could show you the Harrison Gaither Mountain camera. Stand by for full weather coming up right now.
Your Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Zach Gilday. Certified most accurate by WeatherRate.
So there's Harrison Gaither Mountain right there. And in that area, we are seeing a little bit of rain storms starting to form. Nothing is severe in Boone County, but that could be changing pretty shortly as the atmosphere really is primed for severe weather. And here is Mega Doppler showing a severe storm warning for Berry County. That is a considerable severe storm, meaning that we could be seeing some damage with that, and 70 miles per hour winds. Those can be life-threatening as well. That browner shade up there by the Ozark area, that is a destructive severe storm. Thankfully, that is missing us to our east. But here is the latest information for Berry County. So we have considerable severe storm, wind speed up to 70 miles per hour. This does include the city of Cassville, Monette and Swan, all the way through 5:45 this evening. So still around a half hour left for this warning. And I do want to say that this severe storm threat will be moving southward as we go throughout the evening. So here's why that storm is considerable. Notice those lighter shades of pink. Those winds are approaching 70 miles per hour. Those are some strong to severe winds. And here is that shelf clouds coming into view from our Rogers camera pointed northbound. And those clouds look pretty mean. And then those clouds will be moving into northwest Arkansas relatively shortly. I know that there is supposed to be a fireworks show across church in Rogers. I do think that the storms will be moving in just a little bit. I'll time those out in just a minute. But for right now, temperature is 90s. It is hot. It is humid. Actually, a heat advisory for the River Valley through 7 o'clock this evening. Heat index values getting up to 105 degrees in some areas. And here is that severe storm watch for southwest Missouri through 9 o'clock this evening. And we can see that yellow polygon. That is that severe storm warning. Here is a track of those storms. So I did draw this track about 10 minutes ago, so keep that in mind. But these storms will be making their way into the Fayetteville area around 6:30. And then beyond that, Mountain Home around 6:49. Clarksville area around 7:47. But Clarksville area, by the time those storms reach that area, I do think they will be on a weakening trend. But with northwest flow, we have to keep our eyes on these storms. Here is a feature track. It's just a model, so it won't be 100% accurate. But notice how that's widespread storm coverage around 7:30. That's Washington County. Here's 9 o'clock, moving into the Logan County, the Johnston County area. And those storms could potentially be severe too. So 9 o'clock through around midnight. I think after midnight, that's when the storm potential really goes away. Heading into your Monday, though, we have another chance for storms. But here is a severe storm threat for the rest of your Sunday into Monday. So I really think after midnight, that's when this threat goes away. But 2 out of 5 slight risk. that means that we could see some scattered severe storms. All hazards will be on the table, including a tornado threat. Notice how we are being clipped by that. And even if you're not shaded in that green, it doesn't mean your potential for tornadoes is zero, because I've seen tornadoes happen even when we're not in that risk. Keep that in mind. Here's that precipitation forecast peaking this evening. And then pay attention for your Monday. I think Monday has a better chance for storms during the late morning, and then once again during the afternoon and evening. I might even have to update those chances for tomorrow. I'll bring it up to maybe 70 or 80, because I do think that tomorrow the coverage could potentially be a bit higher. Here is tomorrow. So for your Monday, tomorrow morning, I think there will be a round of storms tomorrow morning. My confidence in those being severe is pretty low. Could be a few stronger storms, but during the afternoon, here's Monday, 4 o'clock. I think these could be severe, and those storms look pretty mean. Here is 7 o'clock moving into the Fort Smith area, and then out of the area by around 12 a.m. Tuesday morning. So we have a round of another strong to severe storm potential for your Monday. As of right now, just a 1 and a 5 marginal, but I do think they will increase that to potentially a slight for your Monday, because that looks pretty widespread. As that front moves in, that will be the trigger mechanism for your Monday for those storms during the afternoon. And then beyond that, the forecast stays pretty active. That subtle energy will be making its way in. But by the July 4th weekend, I do think that we are going to be seeing the chances for storms really decreasing, which is good. We do not want storms for any kind of fireworks shows, any backyard barbecues, but heating up by then. Back in the mid-90s, July 1st, coming up Tuesday, daily chances for storms through Thursday. Hot and humid weather getting up there, near 100 on your Saturday. We are live on social media tracking those storms. You can join us there and join us for some more news coming up after this short break.
All right. Sorry about that. So yeah, we're tracking those storms. Richard, 70 miles per hour in Cassville. Yeah, so those winds are strong, and I'm watching those closely. We just did the full weather. Here's the latest radar imagery. Those storms are moving into the Carroll County area. We are going to have to see if they continue with this considerable tag. And if that considerable tag moves into the Benton County area, we might be having to do coverage, more extended coverage on these storms. But as of right now, here's the latest scan, and here is the base velocity. We're looking at this from the Tulsa radar, so it's not the closest radar to these storms. The Springfield radar is, but we can see those winds are getting up there quite strong with that base velocity scan. I do want to look at the storm relative velocity, and I think we're going back to the newscast right now. So I want to set storm motion from warning, and I can't talk anymore because we got to go back to the show. So stand by.
3, 4.
We're about to do final weather in the newscast, so screen is going to be dark for just a little bit, but I gotta walk over to the desk, so stand by for some more coverage on the storms in Berry County. So, yep, stand by for that.
All right, Zach, before that last commercial break, we were showing a look at some of those storm clouds, and they looked pretty menacing up
Yeah,
to the
sure
north.
did. Yeah, looking north from Benton County, we can see a shelf cloud moving in, and here are those storms. We have a considerable thunderstorm, severe thunderstorm warning for Berry County. Right now, that's the only county in the coverage area with a severe storm warning, but 70 miles per hour winds. Those winds, we can see on the shades of pink. Those are some strong, damaging, even life-threatening winds. You do not want to be in the path of these winds. Hopefully this storm weakens out, but that is a questionable. Here is that shelf cloud looking north from our Rogers Pinnacle Parkway Towers camera. These storms are going to be affecting the area this evening, and I am live on social media breaking down all the latest factors, and we'll be doing some TV cut-ins too when necessary, because these storms can cause some pretty serious impacts for us. But here's that 7-day showing strong storms Monday. Monday could be another round of some strong to severe storms. Active forecast is settling in for us. So you can see July 1st on the board for your Tuesday, July 4th as well, Friday. Heating up, looks hopefully dry by then.
All right, be sure to hop on over to that Facebook Live that Zach's doing, and stay tuned, especially with your Weather Authority app. See you back here tonight at 10.
All right, so that is that. It is 5:29 Sunday. Yeah, you do not want to be in the path of these storms. Good news is lightning is going down, so these storms could be on a weakening trend, and I think they are. But the winds are still worth noting. So I do want to show you the radar. I do want to keep it on the radar as much as possible. So if you live in the Carroll County area, these storms are going towards you, the Boone County area, and we can see that considerable severe storm warning. That is a little bit concerning that we have those 70 miles per hour winds, because if you are in the path of those winds, that can cause damage to your home. And if you were outside in those winds, that can be life-threatening, especially if we get the ground is pretty saturated from all the rain that we have been seeing. So trees could fall down. I think there were some trees that fell down last night, and they weren't even really those storms were barely severe. But yeah, timing, I did make this graphic right here. I do want to show you that. Here's a graphic. So storm is moving around 45 miles per hour. So we got the Bella Vista area will be impacted by these storms. That portion of the line might not be as strong as the 70 miles per hour winds. But if you live in Branson, that area is being affected by these storms. And the Fayetteville area, looking around 6:41, give or take 10 minutes either side. Beyond that, it should be moving down into the Madison County, Newton, and the Johnson County area. Clarksville area will be impacted by these storms later on this evening, probably around 7:45. But hopefully by then, the storms will be on a weakening trend. But we're keeping a close eye on these storms, monitoring National Weather Service. I do want to check National Weather Service chat and see what they're saying, because Tulsa hasn't issued any warnings yet. And I do want to see what they're saying. So there is a mesoscale discussion. All right, so they did a special weather statement. So this is, can you guys see me? Yep. Can you guys hear me? Hopefully. But this is a special weather statement for the counties of Madison, Carroll, and Washington. So National Weather Service is hinting at these storms weakening. So right now the wind gusts for this update are 50 to 55 miles per hour, so just under severe levels, which is good news for us because we don't want to see any more of those considerable winds. So I do think the storm is on a weakening trend, but still, if you live in Northwest Arkansas, I do think that we are going to have to be watching for these storms. So I might have to be a little bit quieter because I know that they're trying to record sports behind me, and we're going to let them do that. But for us, we're going to keep on this radar in the Rogers area. So we actually have a camera in Rogers. I'm sure you can see that shelf cloud moving in, and that looks pretty mean. Here is that. Look at that. So those are what we call some SLC, some scary looking clouds. Tornado potential is there. It is low, but that's why we're monitoring it. Yeah, not a good deal for the fireworks at the crosses for Cross Church in the Rogers area. Hopefully they can get that off, but it's not looking good because I can show you the lightning, and there is some lightning moving into the area. But there's our Pinnacle Parkway Towers camera. We can look at these storms from Harrison Gaither Mountain too. I have that camera pointed northward, and we can check in on that camera right about now. So the skies don't look as dark from this angle because, well, that portion of the line is a bit farther away. So it's we're having a hard time looking at that portion of the line. Branson area up there into the Berry County area, that's kind of the direction of where this camera is looking. I think it's northwest where I have it pointed. But the best view of these storms is for sure from our Pinnacle Parkway Towers camera in Rogers. I do want to go back to that for a second. But yeah, Joel, so that was the update from the National Weather Service, 50 miles per hour winds and hail criteria just below status. Thanks for putting that comment on there. It makes things easier for me because I really can't make a graphic mid live stream, or I guess I could, but it would be pretty lame because I wouldn't be talking. But Alex saw 8,000 CAPE in parts. Is that accurate? I believe you. How about do you mean Bentonville? Yeah, Bentonville will be impacted by these storms. But let's okay. I have family members driving back from Branson to Bentonville right now. Are they in danger? Yeah. You don't want to be on the roads right now with these storms. Bentonville area, I do have the track. I can show you that right now. But yeah, if you live in Benton County, Carroll County, I would have plans to not be outside because we got some lightning, we got the winds, we got the heavy rain. Driving's not going to be a good deal. And here's a track. So Fayetteville 6:30. So Bentonville a little bit earlier than that. Bella Vista pretty much right now with those winds, but in Bella Vista the winds really aren't all that severe. So I was going to show you the CAPE. Alex Hall mentioned 8,000. Connor, are you there for? Are you there for me? Okay. All right, stand by. Let me talk to one of the producers real quick about something. So let me go talk to him about potential coverage. So I'm going to mute it and stand by. I am muted. Sorry about that. Well, at least you saw the cape. So here is the storm fuel. We've got new severe storm warning. Thankfully, it's not considerable. It's just a base severe storm warning. And it does include the Berry County area. The Boone County area. But we can see all this instability is in place. Atmosphere is primed for these storms. So even though it seems to be weakening, I do think there is the potential for these to hold together as they go farther south. But we have a fresh severe storm warning. I do want to show you that right now. My bad for being muted. I was talking to someone, and I can see the shelf cloud right now. A really good view of the shelf cloud. And look at that. So there's Rogers, Pinnacle Parkway Tower looking north. That right there is a shelf cloud. So if there will be any lowerings, we can see it from that angle. But we have a new severe storm warning issued. And this is for Boone County. So here it is right there. So this is for 60 miles per hour winds. Which are not considerable, but still can cause damage. All right, here's the deal. So, is there a tornado potential with this? Yes. I do think that the rain, lightning, and wind will be the main effects of this storm. And slow wind was moving around 40 miles per hour, so it's kind of neither fast or slow. It's kind of right in the middle. Yeah, winds pick it up and grab it. See, one thing I haven't done, I haven't looked at the meso analysis yet and looked at the wind shear. So let me do that, and then I can tell you how bad the tornado potential is. And I can even show you guys what I'm looking at. So stand by for that. All right. Can everybody see that? Yep. So let me just put me there. Now here's Storm Prediction Center. We want to go meso analysis. We want to go to our area. And this is a line of storm. So we need to look at QLCS tornado potential. And we can see when you go to multi-parameter fields, go to new bulk shear surface to 3 kilometers. That's what we need to look at for QLCS tornado potential. All right. So you see how the wind vectors are under 30 knots. That means that the tornado potential is low. Okay. If it was at 30, then we'd be worried. But keep in mind that the wind shear could go up, but as of right now, it's under 30, and we pretty much need to have that to have tornadoes, and they have to be line normal or semi-line normal to this line, and the orientation of these wind shear vectors is kind of northwesterly. So if there's any part of the line that starts to kind of have an easterly tilt, then we could be seeing potential for tornadoes. But as of right now, we're not really seeing that, so that's good. I'll keep that in the background for me to look at as we go throughout the evening. But here's a radar. So we can see the line. It doesn't look crazy strong. The base velocity shows you the winds. And I think I might be changing the radar site to Fort Smith. In a little bit, in probably like 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, we'll be doing that. But we can see that latest severe storm warning from our Springfield radar, and Boone County is in this severe storm warning. And that is through 6:30 p.m. this evening. Let's check out the Rogers camera once again. Dark skies. Yep. Thanks for that update. But yeah, Rogers 5:43. Getting dark is 5:44 now, but getting dark, windy, beginning thunder. Yeah, Newton County. That's where the severe storm warning is. Now, let's look at the rotation. People are wondering about the rotation on this line of storms that's coming through. So we got multiple radar sites to look at. Really not a good spot for this line to be coming in to look at rotation. It's in a bit of a radar hole. That's kind of why we need a radar. Preferably maybe Madison County, Washington County. That might be a good spot for radar. But let's see here. Let's look at it from Fort Smith. So maybe a little bit of rotation up there by Bella Vista area. Right now, no severe storm warnings, but let me check the National Weather Service chat. See if they're saying anything. Nothing yet. But we're watching it. I'm watching it. You notice how the line doesn't look crazy strong? They did drop that severe storm warning for Berry County, by the way. Yeah, Eureka Springs, those winds are probably approaching severe status, and they might have to issue another severe storm warning here with this. Tawnytown, yes, it will be coming through Tawnytown. Power on and off in Pea Ridge. Thanks for that updates. We can see Eureka Springs, Berryville, Green Forest, pretty much anybody in Boone and Carroll and Washington County will be impacted by these storms here. Let's look farther south. River Valley, nothing. Nothing's happening yet. Northwest Arkansas, we are seeing that line of storms come through. So Bella Vista is probably starting to rain. Probably northern Bentonville is probably raining. Rogers still dry, but you can probably hear thunder. I hope you're joking, Brian. You don't want to be in a tree stand in Eureka Springs. I would get out of that tree. Number one, because those winds can knock down trees. Number two, there's lightning. I assume you are joking, though. But yeah. All right. Here's a look at Bella Vista. Some raindrops on the camera lens. Bentonville Square. Look at those winds starting to crank up. Hey, there's people outside. Get inside. Pretty soon, you're going to be getting rained on, downpoured on. This is heading south. Kevin, yes, this is heading south. We've got a cleaned off camera, Fayetteville Graduate Hotel. Let's point that northward, shall we? Stand by. Yeah, I know that doesn't look good as of right now. Hopefully, these storms can get out of here. But yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, fireworks at the crosses. But let's see radar. I got the lightning turned on. We can see the lightning. Yeah, some development farther north too. Putting that map into motion here. Storms are tracking southward. These storms are strong, producing winds just below 60 miles per hour and hail just below quarters in diameter. So I would get the cars inside if you're in Benton County, and if you're in northern Benton County, I would already be inside. But I do want to show you that severe storm warning for Boone County, including Harrison. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, redevelopment in northeast Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm sure those winds are cranking up now. Mount Sequoia. About Lincoln. Yep. But Roger is about to start seeing the rain come down. I'm sure those winds are strong. Yeah, we've been talking about the tornado risk. So if you're just joining, I do want to show you that. We got a new severe storm warning. I'll show you that. Show the latest details. Well, that's an interesting warning. So, it's a different National Weather Service office. That's why it kind of looks funny. But so the reason why there's like a little sliver not included in the warning is because it's a different office, and that should be, if you live in that sliver, that is a warning too. Let's just establish that right away. You can hear the weather radio going on behind me. I'll turn it off in just a second, but I do want to show you the latest information. All right, so it is a base severe storm warning. So it's 60 miles per hour winds, hail, just under severe status. So if you live in the Carroll County area, Berryville, Green Forest, Osage, that's where this storm is. Yeah, very strong winds in Lowell. See your comments. Hold on, stand by. I'm trying to read the comments on the kid. Yeah, all right. This is the big question. A lot of people have been talking about this. Fireworks at the crosses. Do you think it will be okay to leave house between 7:30 and 8 to go see fireworks at the cross church? Well, here's the deal. Let's keep an eye on the radar. Okay. As of right now, it's questionable. I don't want to cancel anything. But that risk is low, and I will show you the risk in just a minute. But lightning, you don't want to be by those big crosses during a lightning storm. Trust me. I've had some close calls with lightning. It's not worth it. It can hurt your ears, and your hair will be standing up, and you'll be like, "Am I okay?" Not a good situation to be in. So, yeah, I see some comments. People are already at Cross Church. Yeah, what time is the fireworks ceremony? I didn't catch the time. Download the Weather Authority app, Rhonda, and then you would have known that these storms would have been coming, because I did an app update earlier during the day on these storms, and we launched this live stream about 1 hour ago. So if you have the Your Weather Authority app, then you would have got all those updates, and you would have known. All right, so not taking shelter yet. Sunset makes sense, yeah, but I think there's like baptisms before that, so I wonder what time they're starting the events. Oh, so it's already going on at 5 p.m. at Cross Church. Okay. See how they filled that in? They filled in that severe storm warning. That was National Weather Service Tulsa. Freedom Fest, Pea Ridge. I haven't heard much about that, but you are in the way of these storms too. So I'd take shelter if you were in Pea Ridge, not from tornadoes. I'm not saying go to your safe place, but if you're outside, you want to take shelter from this lightning. Yep. Yeah. Sky does look dicey in Rogers. Not really seeing any lowerings or anything of concern as far as tornadoes at this moment. I see your comment, Destiny. I'm reading all of them. Yeah, so 8:30, the fireworks looks bad. Outflow boundary has just pushed off these storms. Yeah. So once the outflow boundary pushes through, then the instability will be gone, but or at least decreased by a lot. Okay, 6:30. Yeah, main threat is wind and lightning. Flooding also a threat, and a low end tornado threats. All the tents were blowing over. We've been talking about these storms. All right. Let's show you that risk. Now, I do want you to take this risk with a grain of salt. Because I've seen tornadoes happen even when there isn't any risk. So here's the latest risk for the tornadoes. All right, if it were me drawing this map, I would probably extend it a little bit farther down into Washington and Madison County. Just to be on the safe side. But I hate showing models, but this model, I don't think it's doing a bad job. I'll take it back. Maybe it is. It's not doing very good, but just give you an idea of the coverage. We can see those storms. That's probably a little bit too fast. Through 7 o'clock. You don't want to be, if this happens at 7 o'clock, you don't want to be outside in Rogers. Maybe clearing out by around 9 or 10. And then beyond that, pushing, that looks pretty strong too. Pushing south down to I-40. This could be a long evening for this coverage, unless this line fizzles out. But there's a lot of instability in place. A lot of instability. I think after midnight, though, we should be winding down. But Monday, there will be another round of severe weather. Questionable, Daniel, for these fireworks. Power out in Rogers. Yeah, I see those comments. But I do want to show you the radar. That's the feature track. Feature radar, here's the actual radar. So Benton County, under severe levels, but we are seeing some lightning. Okay. Severe storm warning for Carroll and Boone County. Fayetteville's fine now, but in about 30 minutes to an hour, nope. But yeah, appreciate you guys being on here. It is live update. It's 5:59. So if you heard that, you know that this is live, and we're showing you the live radar. Lights flickered in Rogers. Believe that. I do want to show you the latest. Let's show you the watches and warnings here. So here you go. Severe storm watch is in effect for McDonald and Berry County. They'll probably, I guess I'll leave that in effect. See how they just cropped out? You just witnessed them cropped out some counties. And notice how there's some green popping up to our north. Those are flood advisories or flood warnings, and I think that we could be seeing some of that in our forecast area too. All right. Appreciate the update. Crosstress has asked everyone to go inside until it's passed, just for anyone watching. So, believe you, Kevin. Thanks for the update. Really appreciate it. And I really hope they can get that event in. I know the Walmart Amphitheater had to delay the concert. I think I'm just being the bearer of bad news. Past couple of nights here. But yeah. So let's show you some cameras across the area. Here's Rogers looking north. So that part of the line doesn't look as strong as here is a Harrison Gaither Mountain camera. That is a live view looking, I believe it's north. Let me come over here and see if that's not north. Might be northwest. Yeah, so that was north. This is, that was northwest. This is north. And we can see a shelf cloud. That part of the line looks a lot more intense. Oh, there's a fireworks show in Highville. Yeah, so these fireworks shows are questionable here. All right. Let's see. Let me show you. So I'm kind of behind the scenes monitoring things, but that is a view, Harrison and Gaither Mountain looking north at that shelf cloud. Now let's show you the radar. Stand by. And people want to know about the rotation. So we're looking at this from Tulsa. We're changing radars here to Fort Smith. Stand by for that. Good thing we have two radars or two radar softwares. We got live Doppler radar, and I can show you that from Fort Smith while I change Mega Doppler. So people are wondering about rotation. Stand by for that. All right. So let me pan downwards. So this is storm relative velocity from Fort Smith, and not really anything of concern at the moment. A little bit of range folding, but we got Mega Doppler loaded up, and I think that this is going to be a better view of the rotation. So stand by for that. All right. Alrighty. So here's kind of the zoomed out view. The zoomed out view is showing you severe storm warnings for Carroll and for Boone County. They're just, I don't want to say just base, but we've been seeing considerable severe storm warnings. So it's not to that level of severity, but still 60 miles per hour winds. And currently loading up the radar from Fort Smith. So stand by for that. And I do want to show you another thing that I've been looking at. Why I'm not crazy concerned about the tornado potential. Notice how, so you're looking at wind shear vectors and low level instability. Well, low level instability, we have plenty of that but the wind shear vectors are a little bit too low. We need to have 30 knots, and we're at about 10 to 15 knots. So not crazy concerned about tornado potential at the moment, but that could change. Starting to see a little bit of hail too. And here's a new radar. This is from Fort Smith Mega Doppler. Let's check out the rotation. So let's zoom in. Let's set storm motion from warning. So you really are in a radar hole. But yeah, just north of Harrison, maybe a little bit of rotation. Another thing that we can't do is look directly north from Gaither Mountain. And where is Gaither Mountain? Well, I can show you. There it is. So just to the southwest of Harrison. So here's a view looking north, due north from Gaither Mountain. So you can see Gaither Mountain right there. Now let's look due north from Gaither Mountain. Here it is. So we're seeing some heavy rain, no lowerings, but that is the shelf cloud. And yeah, we gotta stay. We gotta stay. Yep.
Right now or like tonight?
Right now.
For how long?
Depending. So just be on standby. Yeah, we had the national break times.
Carter received them, but he doesn't know how to read them. And he tried to call Jesse. Jesse is driving. They would not answer.
Okay. Can you?
And Connor went to Jimmy John's right now.
All right, stand by. Hold on. All right. I'm gonna have to put this on mute for a second. So just stand by. All right, back in it. Had to talk to the producers. Appreciate all the comments here. Okay, let's go back to the radar. So, severe storms impacting Carroll and Boone County. Here is a view north from Gaither Mountain. So there's that shelf cloud right there. So what we're looking at are any signs of any lowerings. And we just saw the wind shear, nothing of crazy concern, but there is a lot of instability. There is a lot of ingredients, a lot of moisture in place for these storms. And that's why I really don't think they are going to be weakening. And no. All right. Stand by. I think we just had a lightning strike on our Harrison Gaither Mountain camera. Man, that was a perfect view. All right, we can look at it from Huntsville. Let's get Huntsville pointed to the northeast. All right, so stand by for that. Let me go over here. Let me show you Huntsville. All right, so there's Huntsville looking to the north-northeast. And we can see that shelf cloud. We do want to monitor velocity as well here. And we have 3 radars that we can look at, but we're kind of in a radar hole. So yeah, maybe a little couplet by Diamond City, but that's east of the coverage area. There's the Springfield radar. That's east of the coverage area though, but here's our coverage area. Seeing some winds that are of concern. Dumping rain in Rogers. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Turn on the lightning for you. Be interesting to see some iDrive cameras. I could probably load some of those up. That would be interesting to see. But here's a wide view. It's been a while since we've done a live view. A wide view. This is live, but River Valley, as of right now, is pretty quiet. Benton, Carroll, Boone County, those areas are seeing the storms. Let's grab some iDrive cameras and see what we got looking at here. Here's Walton Boulevard. Pouring rain. No accidents right now, but here's why leaving your house right now is a bad idea. Torrential rainfall, hydroplaning, that is a possibility here with these storms. Visibility is reduced, just makes driving a nightmare. And you guys know this, but a little update can't hurt. Seeing some lightning too with these storms. So let's give you the latest information on these severe storms. And do a timing. So we've got a severe storm warning in Carroll County through 6:45 this evening. That's for 60 miles per hour winds and hail up to maybe just under quarter size. And here is Boone. All right, stand by. Let me talk for a second with a producer. So stand by.
All right, thanks for joining us here at KNWA. We are just cutting into our commercial break here. We're not missing programming, but we do have some storms to talk about behind us. So if you live in the northwest Arkansas area, you are seeing the skies darkening. Here's Punchbowl Camera. We have that pointed to the northeastward, and the sky is dark. Look a bit scary. I just want to show you the radar right now. We got pause at around 6:19, and that's where the storm paused. We can see Benson County area, seeing those storms moving in. I do want to move out of the way and actually move this for you because we don't want to just have to pause.
But a couple of severe storms are impacting the area. Carroll and Boone County are seeing severe storms. Now, they are under considerable, so base severe storm warning, 50 miles per hour wind earlier during the evening, and then saw a huge disturbance. Here's the latest information on those storms. This one is for Boone County, impacting the city of Harrison, Mountain Home, Whiteville. This is for 60 miles per hour winds. This warning is in effect through 6:30. For the farther west, this warning is for the Carroll County area, Berryville, Green Forest are being affected by this warning. 50 miles per hour winds by one little storm expire at around 6:45. Here's the live camera. We can see this is pointed to the north and seeing torrential rains and winds right now. I know people are trying to get some events in at the Crossroads. We have Crossroads. Not the time for the fireworks at this more. Hopefully, we can see those happen later on. But 60 behind this, that'll be a whole lot warmer to our south. Still, the atmosphere is prime for these severe weather. We've seen a heat advisory in the River Valley. There's that severe storm watch. We're going to have to see if they expand that. I do think there will be some potential for the whole forecast area to have storms. Thanks for choosing KWA. We'll be back on for more details if needed. All right. So that was just a little TV cut in. So that's kind of why it was quiet there for a little bit. But I don't think that was muted, so that's good. Yeah, so let's just keep tracking these storms, and I will stay with everybody until the severe storm threat is over. But as of right now, we've got the radar. You just saw the radar, but here it is again. I do want to show you iDrive Arkansas. I mean, this is why we should not be on the roads during this kind of weather. I think that's an accident that we can see right there. Walton Boulevard camera, Interstate 49. You can see people out in the middle of the street. That's looks like a car is turned pretty much horizontally. So hope they're okay. A lot of people is on the roads right now. That people screaming to a stop in the pouring rain. Not a good idea. Hopefully they are looking. Oh, I think we just might have saw somebody get rear-ended there potentially. Maybe not. But yeah. Not a good situation. And here's why this traffic is backed up. Hopefully everybody can just heed these warnings here. But we're doing cut-ins every now and again on TV, and we'll continue to be doing that as we go throughout the evening. So here's a radar. Benton County, heavy rain. See how the line doesn't look crazy organized? See, it's not a tight gradient here. It's kind of, and we can see a little potential outflow boundary moving down to Fayetteville. So Fayetteville is probably seeing those winds. Yeah, Dixon Street just got the wind. So we got a camera. We got multiple cameras in the Fayetteville area. We can see our Graduate Hotel camera. There's that shelf cloud. Camera's shaking around. Please don't blow off the building. But elevated, that camera's looking north. And yeah, you don't want to be on the roads right now in Benton County or Fayetteville, Madison County. You're about to be seeing the rain come into the area. But I'll be on these storms until the threat's over. Until we have no more severe storm warnings, I will stay on these storms. How about that? Raining Springdale. Yep. That is a true statement. We've already broken the record for the record. I'll have to check on the record, but I know that the average amount of tornadoes is about 37 per year, and we're at 59. So we've really broken the average. I'm not sure about the record. So yeah, in Salem, nope, you're not in the clear yet in Salem Springs. You haven't really even had any storm activity yet. We can show you a camera from Salem Springs, though. There's a shelf cloud. You can see the winds blowing around. Let's check out iDrive again here. Yeah, wind is crazy in Asylum. I believe it. Let me see what direction this camera is pointed in. So that right there is about northeast direction right there. You can see some downpours, the wind, the American flag really blowing back and forth. Here's the latest radar scan. And I'm going to put it on mute for just a little bit. So stand by. All right, here we are. All right, back at it. Had to go take care of something. I saw outside here at the station, and those winds are really whipping. I think this line is outflow dominant. So, um, yeah, yeah, my bad. I had to step away for a second, but back on, and I'll be back on until all these severe storms are gone. So sorry for that. But so I hate seeing this. So we got an ambulance out on the road with that wreck. It's Walton Boulevard, southbound. Hopefully they're okay. But yeah, that's the very latest from I-49. So I would avoid that area if you can. It's I-49 southbound, but we've been tracking these storms. That severe storm warning for Harrison has been expired. I think our camera might have got hit by lightning or maybe lost power briefly. All right, it's good. We're back. We are back in Harrison. That's some heavy rain coming down for sure. Yeah. No longer severe, but winds up to 50, 55 miles per hour. A little bit of small hail. But this is the effect of driving. And these storms weren't even severe. It just goes to show storms do not need to be severe to make driving hazardous. Here's the very latest. Severe storm warning for Carroll County through 6:45, so only about 10 more minutes. Here's our Pinnacle Parkway Towers camera. Hopefully this camera will stay online. Good. That's good for now. Fayetteville about to be seeing the rain. We do have a Graduate Hotel view. And that's pointed north. Doesn't look very menacing from that angle, but let me point it more northeasterly and see what we can see. The tower in the way, but that's where the storms are coming from. Yeah, lightning, heavy rain, maybe a little bit of flood potential. Not crazy concerned about tornadoes for the Fayetteville area. And I can show you why. I think these storms are outflow dominant. You can see this little area of green right there. This looks like a little cold outflow, so cold pool dominant, outflow dominant. We are looking at this from our Fort Smith radar. That's a better color table. Yep, Lowell's coming down hard. I believe that. Well, yeah, Washington County, the storms are moving into the Fayetteville area. A little bit of hail being seen. turn lightning off. You see, really not much hail. There's really not a crazy amount of lightning. We've got some other cameras though. We got Mount Sequoia. We can look at that. But that's the very latest, and they just got so they let that severe storm warning for Carroll County expire. So we got no more severe storm warnings, but this line is strong, and it is moving across the area. So, hey, hopefully, all these storms. Hopefully, all these storms can be out of here by then. But as of right now, new severe storm warning. That's probably for the Rogers area. Zoom in on that. Just west of Rogers. So Decatur, Gentry, Highfill. That's for that severe storm warning. And let me get you the latest information on that. Stand by for that. All right. So new severe storm warning for Benton and Delaware County. And this is for 60 miles per hour winds and hail just below quarter size. Now we're about to do a TV cut in, so I have to get ready for that. But possibility of fireworks. Hopefully these storms can leave the area for that. But as of right now, you don't want to be outside by those big crosses. Heavy downpour in Springdale right now. Yep, Asylum just warned. Yeah, that's not a tornado warning. It is a severe thunderstorm warning. Okay. We can see that from Decatur. Stand by, just getting a little kind of right. And if you guys can hear me back there in the production, 2 minutes. All right, appreciate it. Yeah, I just got a new severe storm warning issued for Delaware and Benton County. That's why I'm still on these. I do want to update this though, real quick. Not really expecting a large hail threat here. I see your comment, Taylor. Mainly wind and rain. But we're doing coverage because it's impacting a highly populated area. And I know people, yeah, I got you guys back there. All right, thank you. All right, 1 minute. And this cut in is 2 minutes. All right. Appreciate it. All right, so we got some cameras loaded up. We got future track. Show you the instability. That's a lot of instability. All right, so about 30 seconds. We'll be doing a TV cut in 15 seconds. So stand by. 10 seconds will be a bit black for a little bit, but stand by. All right.
All right, thanks for joining us for this severe weather update. We're not covering up any programming, just a commercial break for you. So here is all the latest. Here is the radar. Heil Heating and Cooling showing our latest severe storm warning impacting portions of Delaware and Benton County. A lot of people I've been hearing there are some fireworks celebrations tonight, some other things going on in Northwest Arkansas, and this line is impacting those storms right there. So if you guys are watching on the stream, all right, stand by. All right, here's a look at the radar. So we're not covering up programming. We're just doing a commercial break for you right here. But I do want to show you these storms because they are strong to severe and they are impacting population centers. So the Delaware County, Benton County area seeing a severe storm warning, a line of storms making its way through the coverage area. Here is the very latest. So Benton County and Delaware County Gentry, Siloam Springs, that severe storm warning is in effect through 7:30 this evening on this Sunday. Farther east, we're still tracking widespread showers and storms. Boone, Carroll County, those are not severe, but there's a whole lot of instability. Here's why you do not want to be out on the roads. The torrential rain, the hydroplaning, visibilities go way down. So if you live in Northwest Arkansas, I'd probably stay settled until all these storms pass. Here's a Rogers view looking northbound, seeing that rain, maybe a little bit lighter, a lot cooler. Check out these current conditions. Rogers 69, Fort Smith 93. A lot of instability left to deal with. I am expecting storms this evening into early tonight, and we'll be back on to give you updates if these storms stay severe. Until then, thanks for choosing us.
All right, let's hold for 7:02. All right. So still tracking these storms. All right. Here's the radar. Pause it. Let's go up and down this line. Raining on Dixon Street. Yeah, let's check out. I just heard some thunder. That's raining. There's a Graduate Hotel camera. Point to northeast. We could probably, move that away from the tower. But yeah, some lightning in the Fayetteville area. My only concern is here with all the fireworks celebrations tonight is that there is some redevelopment off to the north. Delaware County, you can see a little storm right up there. Cassville area, but we can see this storm moving east around 15 miles per hour. Yeah, crazy outflow. It's a whole lot cooler. Earlier during the day, there's a heat advisory for the Fort Smith area, and there is an outflow boundary. And I can show you where that is. Probably a better view over here. All right. Okay. So here's the outflow boundary. Moving into the St. Paul, Winslow area. So that right there, that's where the wind is pushing out from these storms. And that's why the tornado threat for Washington County is not there. But the wind threat is there. And wouldn't be surprised if we saw a rainbow up here in the Rogers area later towards the sunset hour. Well, Solid Springs, you're in a severe storm warning. I see your comment. So yeah, 60 miles per hour winds and hail just under quarters. And that is in effect until 7:30 this evening. So about 41 more minutes for that warning. But I wouldn't be surprised if they expired that. That storm looks to be kind of weakening. Lightning isn't really all that. Lightning is an issue, but it's not crazy high with that storm. Let's see how tall these storms are. Go that. Call this ecotops. So yeah, the stronger storms are the oranges, yellows. So right now the strongest storm is that one that's in Delaware County, moving into western Benton County. Decatur, Gentry, Siloam Springs, Colcord. You are under a severe storm warning, and you've got 60 miles per hour winds for that storm. But I think that is weakening. Let's see the hail. Probably not really there. No hail. Got a report of thunderstorm wind damage in Centerton. Tree down on Vaughn Road in southwest part of Centerton, blocking the roadway. So that's a good piece of information right there. So that's why we're covering these storms, because they can cause damage. And we are monitoring I-49. You really don't want to be on the roads when there's strong storms moving through. Traffic at a near standstill. Accident. You got a fire truck and ambulance up there. Hope they're okay, but that car has been pointed horizontally. Yep, there was a rainbow up at the AMP last evening. It's a good question. Yeah, so that's Walton Boulevard camera. But stand by. Hold on. Let me see if we have any storm spotters out. Yeah, no feeds up right now, but We do have the best storm spotters, and we really appreciate them. Well, Fayetteville kind of already had the winds roll through. Right now, Fayetteville is seeing the rain and the lightning. We're not yet done with these storms. And could check back in on Rogers. Back to see some more storms roll through. But yeah, severe storm threat is the slight. That means scattered severe storms. And I think that was wise that the Storm Prediction Center did put us in the slight. Highfield, same deal. Severe storm is kind of heading towards you, or you're in the severe storm warning actually in Highfield. There's a severe storm warning, and that is for 60 miles per hour winds and hail just below quarters. Yeah, I saw your comment about the Colcord, and I did talk about Colcord, but right now you've been cropped out of the warning there, Glenda. I didn't mean to miss your question. I just thought that yeah, we can zoom in on Colcord right now. So the warning is for Benton County. Still some lightning, heavy rain though. Yeah, and if I missed your comment, you know, it's my bad. It's just me here, so I gotta do a bunch of things behind the scenes, but doing the best we can here with all the comments coming in. But we can see here's the line. The only severe part is in Benton County, but raining pretty heavily in Newton, up into Madison, northern Washington County is seeing the storms too. Yeah, storms are going south, and they are going south at around, well, they were going around 40 miles per hour. Now might be a little bit less because the storms are kind of weakening here as they continue traveling southward, losing daytime heating. But there's still a lot of instability in place. And I do want to show you the temperatures. Pretty astonishing here. Really how cool it is getting behind this line of storms. It's in the mid 60s up in Rogers, Cassville 66, Harrison 68 degrees. So still the atmosphere is primed for storms in the River Valley. Fort Smith, Poteau, Boonville 94 degrees. Let's look at our Boonville camera and show you what it looks like. Because we just got a relatively new camera. Sunny skies. Quite the difference between Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley right now. But let's point that camera north. And so we can see these storms are heading towards that area, but Still a ways away though. Yeah, and I'll keep this stream going until all the severe storms are gone. Okay. Yep, I can show you Siloam Springs camera. Stand by for that. Yeah, the wind's whipping around, heavy rain is just north of Siloam Springs. All right, we're about to do a TV cut in here, so let me build my show here. Just stand by. Hopefully all these storms can be out of here. We can have those fireworks shows, but in about a minute or so, there's going to be a cut in on TV, so the screen might turn black for just a little bit. Yeah, I do think flooding could become an issue here too, because we've seen a lot of rain over the past couple of days. Storm still staying strong. And coming up in this update, I'll show you the latest timing too. So about a minute out. Just stand by for that. We don't have a camera in Cassville. Wish we did. Well, that warning goes until 7:30, so I do think they might drop that warning because that storm seems to be on a weakening trend. But we're about to do a cut in about 30 seconds, so stand by for that. The screen will go black for a little while, but we'll come back on and you'll see me on the screen. All right, stand by. All right, we're tracking storms on this Sunday. We are interrupting a commercial break, so not impacting programming, but just giving you a quick update. Severe weather is still ongoing in Northwest Arkansas. Those severe storms have expired for Boone and Carroll County, but in Benton County, we are still seeing a severe storm warning. Zooming in on that severe storm, here is the latest information. This warning is in effect from right now through 7:30. 60 miles per hour winds, Decatur, Highfield, Siloam Springs, just east of the Colquitt area. That's where that severe storm warning is. So if you live in that area, stay inside. You do not want to be outside in that heavy rain and in that lightning.
East of us, or east of that area, we're seeing some rain behind the main line. The wind is the main threat, the heavy rain leading to some traffic issues. We do not want to see this. This is why it's dangerous being out on those roads during these downpours. Visibilities go way down. Hydroplaning becomes an issue. And that's the latest view. Walton Boulevard looking southbound in the Rogers area. Here's a view, starting to see a little bit of clearing. Rogers, Pinnacle Parkway Towers camera. Hopefully the fireworks show at the crosses can go on later on this evening. Temperature is cooling down. Rogers 68 degrees, a pretty dramatic cool down behind this line of storms. But Boonville 94 degrees, still a lot of instability in place ahead of that line. So I don't think we're quite yet done with this severe storm threat. That's why we're doing this update, and we will keep a close eye on these storms. Severe storm watch is just for Berry and McDonald County. I do not think they will expand that down to the south, but here is the latest timing. So those storms are right now impacting Washington, Madison, Newton County. That's where the widespread rain is, frequent lightning. But those cities will be impacted by this line of storms. Winslow around 718, Clinton 737, and then the Alma area 805, moving down to Van Buren 817. Give or take 10 or 15 minutes because this line, it slows down, it speeds up. I got it moving at around 45 miles per hour, but that's the latest track of those storms. And here's a future track showing that it looks pretty widespread, and I don't think these storms will weaken all that much. I think they will stay strong all the way through potentially past midnight. Will they stay severe? That is the question. Here is that severe storm risk for right now through around midnight. So 2 and 1, we'll be back on if need be, if these storms stay severe. Until then, thanks for choosing us.
All right. So gone. All right, let's potentially do 725. Okay, so as of right now, no severe storms. They just expired that severe storm warning. It's good news. And the storms seem to be weakening, but there is a lot of instability. The line is, I think, is outflow dominance for most, if not all, of that line. And what I mean by that is, the cold air is surging out ahead of that line, and that means that the storms will not be severe. Now, let me look at the radar here. Yep, there's the outflow boundary. We can see it. So right there. That's where the cold outflow is. So this part of the line, wind is going to be the main threat. Here's a different radar. That's Springfield radar. That's a view from Fort Smith radar. Here's Tulsa. Oh yeah, big time outflow boundary. Yeah, that's why that severe storm died off. Look at the severe storm north of the outflow boundary. Now, this is in northeast Oklahoma. It just shows you how ripe the atmosphere is for these storms. Turn on lightning. Yeah, a lot of lightning still. Storms up stronger to our northeast. I'm starting to see some glimpses of hope from the Rogers camera. But we're not quite yet done with these storms. Yep, no more severe storm warning for Benton County. But there is some more development up in Delaware County in northeast Oklahoma. But River Valley models have this line holding together. Let's look at some future track models. All right, so let's look at the graph. Wow. This is a new record of the graph being horrendous. It's got no storms at all. That's really bad. They really have to fix that. So toss that model out for this go around. Here's the HRRR. Let me fix that view. Could be a bit overdone. No, there's still a storm threat. It's just a model, but it kind of has the line arriving I-40. That's probably too late. Maybe like 8:30-ish. We'll have to see if this line strengthens or stays the same, but there's a lot of instability. And I do want to show you tomorrow, though. So here's the precipitation timeline. So it's pretty hot right now, but it's once again going up tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon might pose a higher severe storm threat as that frontal boundary makes its way in, because there is a front that's off to our north. And this will come in tomorrow. This cold front, that will move in tomorrow. See, that's just an outflow boundary that's moving in right now. The main synoptic front will move in tomorrow. And that'll give us some more storms. Here is tomorrow's risk. This for Monday is a marginal, but I wouldn't be surprised if they upgraded this to a slight. And yeah, I don't really see any signs of this line strengthening. So we might be able to take a break from coverage potentially. Storms are strong, and they're really fizzling out. See up there in Delaware County by Jay, not the one by Veneta. That one's not weakening. That one's actually strengthening. That was actually seeing potentially 2-inch hail. But if you're wondering, the accident on I-49 has been cleared. I still wouldn't do any traveling, though, on I-49, especially in Benton County, because we're still seeing some storms moving in. And this storm right here, that's pretty strong. That's got some hail. And that is potentially moving into Delaware County. Well, not quite, Rachel. Not quite. I think there will still be some storms this evening. I wouldn't be surprised if you got some flooding issues too. Yep. So I do want to show you the new severe storm watch. They did extend that severe storm watch. Delaware County through about 9. Yep, still 9. And that's severe storm warning until 7:45. So hold on, let me talk to production for a second. So stand by. I'm going to put it on mute here. I'm going to show you the radar. Be back in about a couple minutes. Here's the radar. All right, we're back. Still watching these storms. Get rid of that banner. All right, as of right now, no severe storm warnings for our coverage area. Still on this stream, though, because there is a storm that is of concern up in northeast Oklahoma that's kind of heading towards our way. The hail core has been going in between 1 inch, 2 inches, and we do not want to be seeing that. Let's turn off the lightning. Good echo tops. That is a strong storm, over 50,000 feet. 55,000 feet almost for that cloud top. That's why it's producing some hail. And there's the hail core. Outside the coverage area, but that could be potentially moving in our area. Tell you what, if that storm dies, we will end this stream because it is 7:24 on this Sunday. And we have this line of storms going through. It was severe at one point, but it's really weakened. Still some instability, though, in portions of the area, and that's why we're still on these storms. But as of right now, no severe storm warnings for our area. And let's look at some cameras across northwest Arkansas. Let's see what we are dealing with. Let's go to Lincoln. Wow. Some rain right there. About Huntsville. It's Posey Mountain. Raining up in Posey Mountain. The Rogers. All right. I do think Rogers looking better for the fireworks at the cross. Hopefully we can get a nice show. But still some lightning in the area. Yeah, I hope so too. But still some lightning in the area. I can show you that. But it's really gone down. And it's probably a lot cooler up there. A lot cooler. But this time of year, though, the instability really does come back quickly. How about this? Dew points are lowering. The areas that we had the storms, still mid 60s, so still a little bit humid, but not anywhere near as humid as Fort Smith area. Tulsa is pretty bad, 74-degree dew point. Let's see the instability. Still a lot of instability ahead of that line. But the line is not severe, and this looks heavily outflow dominant. So you might be wondering, why are these storms not going crazy? Well, we have cold air rushing out ahead of these storms. So let me crank up the DBZ so I'm showing you more returns. And let me draw a line. So this right here, let me draw a curved line. That right there is the cold outflow. Whoa. All right, let's not do that. So that right there is a cold outflow. So we're getting some cool air out ahead of these storms. It's kind of choking them off. And that's why those storms are kind of dying. Cool air behind that, and then hot, hazy, humid ahead of that. So pretty much that outflow boundary is really killing off all the instability. '70 in Fayetteville, 68 degrees in Rogers, a whole lot cooler. See, way ahead. See, that line of storms isn't even in Crawford County yet, but the cool air is already moving in. Quite the temperature gradient, pretty impressive right there. And no, I have not seen the fireworks at the crosses before, but we got a perfect view right here. So hopefully they can launch them tonight, because that would be a nice camera to view that from. Let's look at that storm up there in northeast Oklahoma. Another way to look at the outflow boundary is the spectrum width, so kind of a measure of the turbulence in the air. And oh yeah, most definitely outflow boundary by the Mountainburg, Harmony, Cartwright Mountain. I'm sure those winds are whipping at Cartwright Mountain. Let's look at that camera. Oh, what's that in a camera lens? Stand by. Gotta go up there and clean out that lens, that camera in Mountainburg. Man, these storms just don't want to quit. Another severe storm. These are moving so slow. 20 miles per hour. Moving 10 miles per hour. They won't be here for a while. And hopefully once we lose daytime heating, those die off and don't impact us in northwest Arkansas. But they might. They just might do that. But I think the Hell Core over by Veneta, that's going down. Yeah, the Hell Core is decreasing in size. Look at our area. Storms are weakening, outflow dominant. If it wasn't for these two, or this cell up there, I would probably end the stream. But appreciate all the comments. Appreciate everybody being on here. Might be a rainbow pretty soon up there in some areas. Let's look at how about Pea Ridge? Bella Vista. Trying to clear. Harrison Gate, the mountain lost power real quick, but it's back up. A little bit of fog on the mountainside there. But here's the deal. Right now, nobody's in northwest Arkansas is being affected by these severe storms. But so a little bit of lightning. Lightning is possible even behind the outflow boundary. Very possible behind the outflow boundary. But so the areas that are seeing heavy rain right now are Deer, Limestone, Lurton, Salis, St. Paul. And then it gets pretty spotty. I'll show you the radar. Up into southern Washington County, there's the outflow boundary. So there's zero potential for tornadoes behind that. And this whole line looks pretty outflow dominant, looks pretty weak. But this doesn't. And those will probably gust out and have some strong winds. So they'll probably speed up and have some wind warnings. Potentially. Yep, Thunder and Rogers. So even though the main line is well south of Rogers, still some thunder can be heard. And a little bit of lightning right there by the in between Lowell and Highfill. Cave Springs area. So if you're just joining us, we had some severe weather pass through earlier. Right now, not looking all that severe, but the only reason why we're still doing this live is because of this. That's moving towards us. But it's 7:35. We've been going live for about 2.5 hours ever since just before the 5 o'clock newscast. So there will be another newscast on Fox 24 at 9 and on KNWA at 10. And we'll talk about tomorrow, because tomorrow I foresee us being back on here for some more coverage potentially. So I think tomorrow we'll have another threat for some severe weather, and we will be on it because we got to be. This time of year can be tricky. There's a lot of instability in place. Let's look at the instability by this storm, though. What's going on up there? So is it kind of riding the instability gradient? In theory, that storm will die out as it encounters an area of or an environment that isn't as conducive to severe weather. And I do think that's what's going to happen pretty shortly. And once that happens, I'm going to say goodnight because we got to get ready for the 9 o'clock show, the 10 o'clock show. All right. So we got some comments. Rainbow and Rogers. Let's look at Rogers' camera. Hold on, but potentially Delaware County is up next if they extend that warning there. But let's look at some cameras, see if we can see a rainbow. Not from this angle, but it is raining, as we can see right there. So let me go over here and kind of pan the camera around and see what we can see over in the Rogers area. That double rainbow, how about that? Yeah. That's a sign that the rain is ending. Check out that double rainbow up in Rogers. They had a rainbow last night too. So how does the radar look? Well, winding down. My only concern are these two cells right here. Put it in motion. Very slowly making its way easterly. But my gut says that these storms will die off before they reach us. I don't see a reason why they would sustain themselves because they're entering an environment that's not as unstable and the daytime heating is gone. So there's really no mechanism. But look at this rainbow. The rainbow is intensifying in Rogers. About that. Nice view. So some areas have been cropped out of that severe storm watch. And let's go over that. But first, here's kind of why I think these storms will weaken. Because there's really no instability ahead of these storms. Got outflow boundary down here, less outflow boundary here, not as less or more stable here. But let's look at the watches and warnings. Barry and McDonald, no more severe storm warning. Or watch. I meant to say watch, but no warnings either. Delaware County still has a severe storm warning through 9 o'clock. We're tracking these storms, and they are severe, moving very slowly. Hail and wind are the main threats for those storms. Yeah, those move at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Maybe 20 miles per hour. Hope those weaken and go away. But that's the question. Are the fireworks shows good to go? Well, if those storms die out, yes. You can blame those storms right there. And wait a minute, there's some more development even farther north. Oh, go away. But this won't be here for a while. This is probably tomorrow morning, potentially. Where did these come from? You gotta know, northwest flow. Oh. Sort of just came out of nowhere. Those could drop south and miss us potentially, but that time of year. And no computer model right now probably even has those storms. I guess they kind of do. I think there potentially could be the fireworks shows. I am hopeful. I think we're down to a single rainbow. At Rogers. Yeah, see, I was going to do a storm track, but thing is, these storms are the speed will change, and it's kind of hard to get a good read on those storms. But I'll do it just because you asked. Because right now they're moving very slow, but once they weaken, I think they'll speed up. So the speed is probably 10 to 20 miles per hour. So let's do 25. So let's make it 25 miles per hour. And do a little track for these. But I'll still do a track. Hold on. Let me just probably do like 28 miles per hour. And I really do think that these will weaken. Probably like that, maybe. Actually, you know what? I think those might even drop. I think when they lose strength, I think they'll drop south more. Probably like that. So Fayetteville around 10:30, but you know these storms are weakening, and they're dropping south. If you look at Mega Doppler here, so that's that track. Maybe just toss that in the garbage can because we can see at the last couple scans, it's kind of heading more south and really weakening. And they actually did expire one of those severe storm warnings. Hail core is way down. Still some lightning. Yeah. Oh, well, we do have some hail in Franklin County, apparently. Tiny hail core. Very isolated. A little bit of hail up in Crawford County. Let me turn this lightning off. So all of these storms weakening. Echo tops still show around 50, 45, 50,000 feet. 55,000 feet. And the hail potentially up to 2 inches. I think that might be a little bit overdone. But there is that potential. Yeah, when you see black in the reflectivity, that means that there's either some heavy rain or some hail. But as of right now, the lightning in Benton County is way down. Let's see if we can see some clearing in our northern areas like Pea Ridge and Bella Vista. A little bit.
little bit. Let's go back to Rogers. No more rainbow. Yeah, so this view right here is looking at that storm cluster up in northeast Oklahoma, but you saw that north view looks pretty clear. They just did extend a new severe storm warning issued just outside the coverage area. But this storm is weakening. Moving east 10 miles per hour for 40 minutes longer. See, still a little bit of lightning. See, lightning is still possible behind this little line of storms that's coming through. So I know that there's a fireworks show in Heifel. I know there's a fireworks show in Rogers, and hopefully they can get these off. Now the only issue is that cluster right here, which I do have confidence that will weaken and die off, but there is the potential, and we got some more storms to our north. Get those out of here. Let's do a future track and see what those storms are doing. Yeah, so I think those storms up there in Kansas, I think those might just drop south. So I see your comment, Dustin. Yeah, I'm wondering what the deal is with that. I mean, for me, I haven't heard anything. But we've got a perfect camera to watch that fireworks show from the station. And I would love to see that. But we can see we got some storms still outside the coverage area, but those are kind of moving slowly towards Rogers. But I really do think that those will weaken. And I think that this cluster up here, I think those will drop south and miss us. Oh, yeah. I think those will miss us up by, I think that will miss us, hopefully, tonight. But this area right here, didn't want to do that. This area, that could be an issue, and that could potentially move that way. But I think it might just move down south. I think it'd be like that. Excuse my terrible drawings, but no, I didn't see it, Dina. I didn't see the anvil crawler. But some heavy rain right now in Franklin and Johnson County. Clarksville, maybe a little bit of hail.
but not too concerned about that portion of the line. It's pretty quiet up there in the Rogers area. Let's point it northward, see if we can see any blue skies. And by it, I mean Rogers' camera at Pinnacle Parkway Towers. Looks a bit clearer. Yeah, but see, those storms there. I think you're talking about these. I think these are on a weakening trend here. And notice how they're kind of dropping south at the last couple of scans. I think those could potentially miss us. Hail's going up a bit, 2 inches in diameter now. 2.27 inches. But let's look at the instability. Storms are riding the instability gradient for sure. But a lot less unstable in Northwest Arkansas. Dew point still going way down. Instability is a lot less. So if these storms continue to track eastward, they're going to encounter an environment not as conducive for severe weather, and those storms should die out. But yeah, all right. Let's look at the. Bear with me. How about radar? Yeah, really, really weakening here. That severe storm up there north of Big Cabin and Veneta, that'll probably expire. But we'll have you on here. I do think that tomorrow, we'll have a good chance for some severe weather too. So here's a future track for Monday. Here's noontime. I think tomorrow, late morning into the afternoon, there could be some chances for rain. But as far as severe weather, I think that tomorrow afternoon, Monday, around 4 or 5, peak heating, a fertile boundary looks to be moving in. Then there could be some chances for some severe weather tomorrow as that line of storms comes through. And then it should be out of here by 10, 11, or 12 Monday. Then beyond, they're looking pretty quiet, but I saw a comment about 4th of July. By July 4th, I think that the chances for rain will be really decreasing, and that's good news because we do not want rain for July 4th, but Sunday could be seeing the rain chances going back up potentially. That's not out of the question. Clearing skies in Rogers. Sunset around 8:37. Oh boy. All right, here's the deal. With that storm in northeast Oklahoma, it's gone considerable. For hail. So we're seeing hail potentially up to 2 inches just west of Delaware County. So we need to keep an eye on that storm. Hail, that says 2.4, so approaching baseball size just west of Delaware County. We need to keep an eye on that storm and see what that does here. All right, latest scan, not as impressive. I think it will weaken. Here's an update on everybody's been wondering about the fireworks show at Cross Church. Here's the latest from Dustin. Cross Church has posted they plan on doing baptisms around 8 and trying to keep plans with fireworks following baptism. So here is the storm that could impact this fireworks show. All right. Let me show you a wider view. Yeah, I have a hard time believing that that storm will make its way into Benton County. So I think that the fireworks show should go off without any issues. Unless that storm makes an easterly trek and makes its way here. And we'll stay on this live until that storm weakens because that storm's on the doorstep, but it's moving very slow, about 10 miles per hour. Is the speed of that storm. Moving very slow. So severe storm warning for about 13 more minutes. Let me show you this on live radar. All right, that's old. Disregard that. Good INX. So severe storm warning through 8:15, considerable with the hail. And I think this storm will weaken. There's an outflow boundary by the Claremore area. So the atmosphere really isn't primed for storms where that cell is. I think the reason why it's so strong is that it's kind of on an instability gradient, and sometimes those gradients can be a focus for severe weather. But we're on it, and we'll keep you up to date with these storms. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate everybody chiming in. We showed you tomorrow how there is a severe storm chance, and we showed you right now how we're dealing with this. See the hail. The hail core is going down. It is still west of us, west of Delaware County, because we cover Delaware County, but not where that storm is. The reason why we're on it is because it kind of has a line towards our coverage area. And once this storm dies out, we're going to hang up this Facebook Live because our forecast area, I'm not too worried about the southern extent of this line. We can take a look at it from how about let's look at it from Mount Magazine. How about this view? Not much of a shelf cloud here. It's outflow dominant, and storms are not severe. So seeing some development in Kansas. I think those will drop south and miss us along with this. But we're still on this. The storm is still very strong. Echo tops up to 56,000 feet. It's a massive storm. Signs of the hail core going down. We just had to add a report of a golf ball sized hail just west of our coverage area. That's why that storm went considerable. But the hail core is weakening. The storm is weakening, and that's good news for us. Let's see what it does in about 8 minutes. And if they include Delaware County, then we'll stay on. If they don't, then we'll take a break and probably have to be on here tomorrow for some more coverage. We'll be ready. We'll be rested up because I think that tonight, I think it looks pretty quiet. I do think that these storms up in Kansas, even though they kind of look like they're heading our way, I think they'll drop south and miss us. Yeah, I thought there was going to be some surprises today with these storms. I thought that was a potential. But here is a view. The sun is setting on this Sunday, almost in July here. Tomorrow is the 30th, and then July 1st is on Tuesday, and then July 4th is on Friday. And looking forward to that. Should be fun. I think that the storm potential for July 4th will be a lot lower than what we're seeing for these next couple of days. I'll tell you what we can do. We can update our chances for rain for tomorrow live because I think we have to make some changes. Right now, we've got 60% at around 4 to 6. I think we have to bump that up. let's bump this up to like 70%. Do that right now. Stand by. Because I do think tomorrow afternoon we'll have a chance for storms and maybe even strong to severe storms. All right, got that updated. Now it takes a minute. Now we have to do Fort Smith. Still watching the radar. So we'll come back to that in a second. But right now, Rogers in the clear. Stand by though for an updates on this Fort Smith precipitation chance. It'll be a bit later in the evening, but I do think there will be a chance for storms. All right. What do we think? %. So I do think tomorrow there's a good chance for storms. Fort Smith. Maybe a bit less of a chance, but still I think in there will be a 70%. It's just on an odd hour for it to be shown. But let's look at the radar. About 4 more minutes until that severe storm is extended or drops. Look at how cool it is. I kind of want to go outside and just see how cool it is out there. Not cool in Boonville, though. Or Waldron. And Waldron. Boonville looking north at those storms. So if you live in Boonville, we can expect some gusty winds, some small hail, frequent lightning, some heavy rain. Not worried about tornadoes or anything widespread. But here is a look at the storm that we're still on the air for, or still on the stream for. Looks to be weakening. Hail core is going down. Yeah. Fort Smith is still muggy and humid, Pam, but pretty soon, though, you're going to get the outflow boundary. When will you get the outflow boundary? Oh, like within the half hour. You're going to be seeing those winds picking up and you're going to be cooling down. Let's see if it's windy yet in Fort Smith. Nope. The American flag is not waving around, but pretty shortly it will be. July 2nd, there will be a chance for rain. Yeah, so let me show you. So this line right here, that's the outflow boundary. So everything behind that is going to be pretty cool. That's why those storms are dying. But out ahead of that line, it is hazy, hot, and humid. So pretty soon we can put that map into motion. Outflow boundary is moving pretty quickly. That will be there before you know it. And those winds will be pretty strong, not quite severe, but they will be strong. We got one more minute on this severe storm warning, and we're going to see what they do with it. I hope it does not include Delaware County. If it doesn't, then we are going to end the stream. But if it does, we'll probably stay on. All right, severe storm warning is gone. Let me look at the National Weather Service chat. All right. Reissued it. Yep. We got a new day one risk. All right, new severe storm warning for through 9 o'clock. Does not include our coverage area. I do think this storm will die out and not affect us. Let me just give you one last sweep of what we're looking at. We're seeing some stronger storms in Johnston, moving into Logan County. A little bit of small hail, gusty winds here. Here's the hail. Really very isolated for the hail, so not really of concern with that. Just wanted to show it to you. The winds are gusty. Base velocity, you can see the winds below 60 miles per hour. That storm is severe, but that's well a ways from our coverage area. If that storm moves into our coverage area, can't talk right now. Been doing this live for 3 hours, 18 minutes. It is 8:16. I do appreciate everybody, all the comments here. If this storm stays severe and moves into our coverage area, I'll launch this stream again and give you updates. But one last look at some cameras across the area. I know there is going to be, or they're trying to do a fireworks show at Cross Church Rogers. I think that's looking pretty good. Highfill fireworks show, looking pretty good. So I think just like last night, we had some delays, but I think that we'll be able to get these events in for this evening on this Sunday. But I do think that there will be some more storms for tomorrow. We got the updated rainfall numbers. I'll show those to you one last time, and then we're going to, I don't know, do you want to see the 7-day? I'll show you the 7-day. Here are the precipitation chances coming up here. So tomorrow we're going way up to 70% chance during the late afternoon, early evening. Those storms could be severe. River Valley, another good chance for severe weather tomorrow. Let me show you the latest severe storm risk. Oh, seriously? I don't know about that. So they extended the slight risk down to I-40 and kept the slight risk in for Northwest Arkansas. I think that's overdone. Let me see what they're doing for the tornado potential as of right now. Let's see what we are doing. And we've got Casey Smith here in studio. Probably want an update as of right now. I can show you. Here's the latest severe storm risk, which I think is overdone. They really should have cropped out Washington and Benton County from that outlook. Let's see what they did with the Tor potential. Yeah, I don't know about this. We can see it. We can see that's what it is. But I really think this line is on a weakening trend. And in case here's your update right here. We can see pile heating, cooling, mega Doppler. That's a severe storm, but that's northwest of our area. That's in northeast Oklahoma. Okay, so, and I do expect that to weaken and hopefully not impact us, because that storm is entering a part of the atmosphere that's not as conducive for severe weather. Still seeing some severe hail with this, and that is a considerable severe storm. So hail, potentially up to golf ball size. We actually had a report of golf ball size hail in that area. But for our coverage area, this line is outflow dominant. So we have an outflow boundary moving into the Fort Smith area. I wouldn't be surprised if those winds are starting to crank up in Fort Smith. American flag waving around a bit more, but we can see that though the storm is not looking, that shelf cloud isn't very defined. But we can see that some strong storms impacting Johnson and Franklin County, moving into Logan County. We have a camera in Logan County looking at these storms. There they are. Can't really get a good view of the shelf cloud because of those trees in the way, but we can see some vertical development from Boonville Elementary School. And I think these storms are on a weakening trend. I think they'll stay strong as they go into the Logan County area, Scott County. We'll probably see some strong storms. Let's see, Waldron. What are we looking at here? Yep. But as far as severe weather, I don't really anticipate that being a big issue for the rest of the evening. And then that storm, I'm keeping a close eye on that. If that moves into our area, and if we get any more severe weather, I will launch the stream. But as of right now, and this is for you too, Casey, I think that we could probably still lead with weather in the 9 because there will be some stronger storms. But as far as severe weather, I think that is winding down, because I know that there are some fireworks shows that were trying to happen, and we can look at Rogers and seeing some clearing. Those are the crosses right there. We can see them just west of I-49. Great view for those storms. And the questions, do I have any idea when it will stop storming? Not tomorrow. Monday will have an even bigger chance for storms, and the severe storm chances will be there for your Monday too. And appreciate the comments as of right now. I think we're going to hang up the stream. If we get any more severe weather, I will let you know about it. So until then, stay safe and we'll keep you updated.